Beautiful. So, welcome everybody to this evening's conference with Le Cercle des Langues. I am Chanel and I will be taking you through education and career, talking about your academic and professional career. This evening's conference is for level B1 to B2. So for the first 25 minutes, we will discuss the topic. And for the last 5 minutes of our lesson or of our conference, we will have a question and answer where you can put your questions in the chat or on a piece of paper so that we can discuss it in the last 5 minutes. So let's begin. This evening's conference has 4 parts. We will be talking about your academic grades. So that means the results you receive at the end of every semester or every year or every term. Your academic experiences for number 2. We will look at my professional qualifications. So what are those qualifications? And for the last part, we will talk about your professional work experiences. Please feel free to have a pen and a notebook so you are ready to take notes to check later. You also have the PDF, so you can use these notes to compare what you have taken down. Let's begin. So we are going to look at how do you describe your academic and career experience. Each description of your educational, work and volunteer experience should be clear and concise, yet descriptive. After talking about your experience, a prospective employer should know exactly what your responsibilities were and what skills you have developed. So here are some tips in this conference to help you out. Let's begin speaking about academic grades. So talking about grades is all dependent on if you open up about these things or not. However, in an interview or professional situation, it is important to feel comfortable about the subject. So everything depends on what the person is going to ask you, the person who is doing your interview, and how much you are willing to share. But as we've stated, it's important to be prepared to answer this question. So grades are different depending on the school and the country. So in the UK, we use letters at school, for example, A to E normally. And if you apply for a job in another country, try to give the equivalent of your grades in their system. So let's look at the UK school grade table summary. Remember that every country is different. So, for example, in South Africa, it would be different. In France, it's different. So it's good to do research before, because maybe you are not interviewing with a UK-based company. Maybe it is a German company, or maybe all of Europe has the same framework. It's just good to understand the system. So here is an example of a UK school grade table summary. So in secondary school, so secondary school would be after lycée, you get what is called the GCSE, which is the Key Stage 4. And this is between the ages of 14 and 16. So the grading system works on a 9-to-1, where 9 is your highest and 4 is a standard pass. So which means you just made it. You then get sixth form or college. There seems to be two levels or two different paths you can take. And the first is A levels, and then you have your BTech or your NVQ. And this is between the ages of 16 and 18. And here your levels are A to E. A is your highest and E is your minimum pass. However, if you take your BTech and if you are doing your BTech qualification, you are looking on a system of distinction, merit, pass, or fail. So there's no numeric system. It's just the word that tells you where you fall in the category. You then go to university and your bachelor's degree, which can be, I think, about 3 years. That is when you are between the ages of 18 and 21. So here you get first class, 2 to 1 or 2 to 2 or third class or a fail. So again, we don't have any numbers, no numeric system. We just have the number, the word that tells you where you fall. At university, you then have a master's degree, which I think is about 5 years. And that is for anyone above 21 years old and above. And you either get a distinction, a merit, a pass, or a fail. And then at that university or a research institute, you move on to your doctorate, which is generally for 24 years and older. And you get a pass or a fail. Again, we are just repeating that every system is different. So it will depend on the country where you are. This is just an example of the UK grading system. So talking about your academic grades. So general expressions, again, maybe this is in the UK, you would say, I got a 2.9 in English. My grades were good at university, or I did well this term or this semester. So in the UK, you'd say in English, I got a B plus. But in the USA, we speak about a GPA. And in this expression, he says, my overall GPA is 2.94. I need to get a 3.4 next semester to bring my GPA above 3. So that would be the vocabulary that is used in the US system. So what are some tips for succeeding with a poor academic record? So tips for succeeding with a poor academic record would be leave it off. So when we're saying about tips to succeed, if it is something that you do not want to speak about, because at that time you did not get the results you wanted, they are advising you to leave it off your curriculum vitae. Unless your potential employer specifically requests your academic record, you don't need to include it on your resume, which means you don't have to talk about it. You could also use the approach of showing what you have learned. So if you do not feel that your academic record accurately reflects your capabilities, it's important to show a potential employer why that is the case. That means you can show it and in the end admit and say, I know it's not good, but this is why and this is what happened after. It's a personal choice that you should make based on how you feel and what you are comfortable to express. So let's look at a practice conversation. Person A says, I'd like you to talk to me about your academic grades. Person B, or in this case, is the person who is being interviewed, says, sure. What exactly would you like to know? Person A. So after that, once they ask the question, chances are you would have to respond. Person A says, could you tell me about your school and university grades? Person B, well, at school, I got straight B's across the most important subjects, such as maths and science. At university, I passed my law degree with 2 to 1. And person A says, thank you for providing me with those details. So what person B actually did, he highlighted the subjects that were important for his interview. So if there were any that he was maybe not proud of or he did not achieve a good result, he did not mention it, but he made sure to highlight the important subjects. Let's talk about academic experiences. So talk about real world experiences. Whether your grades were strong or poor, it can be helpful to keep the focus on your real world experiences. So academic experiences that can enhance your learning are things like internships and working experience. Gain hands-on experience in industries like healthcare, engineering, or journalism through summer internships and study abroad programs. So I think what we call that in France is c'est un stage. And these are quite important because they highlight your work experience and how early that experience began. So study abroad programs, you could participate in a cultural exchange or short-term study program in foreign countries to broaden global perspectives. We also look at academic Olympiads. So you compete in national or international Olympiads for subjects like maths, physics, biology. We also have English Olympiads or peut-être, maybe you have Olympiads in French, for example, what we call spelling bees. And the fourth is volunteering and community service, where you contribute to local charities or projects such as tutoring younger students or environmental cleanups to build empathy and leadership. So what kind of expressions can we use? I joined science fairs to explore new ideas and improve my problem-solving skills. Volunteering as a tutor taught me how to communicate and help others learn. Being part of the debate club improved my confidence and public speaking. I completed an internship where I gained real-world experience in, and then you mention your field. So en français, le secteur. Studying abroad expanded my cultural awareness and language skills. So in an academic experience interview, you could have someone ask you, can you tell me about any academic experiences outside of regular classes? And the candidate could say, sure, I participated in a coding competition where I worked on building a project and improved my problem-solving skills. I was also a member of the debate club, which helped me become a more confident public speaker. These experiences taught me teamwork, communication, and how to take initiative. So what you see is a pattern of what I did, what it helped, and what I can do because of this experience. So now that we have discussed your academic experience, let's look at professional qualifications. Are you qualified? What does it mean to be qualified for a job? To assess this, an interviewer evaluates your education, your skills, and your work experience to determine if you would be a good fit for the role. So, qualification types and their translations. So we have a bachelor's degree, which is seen as a diplôme. We have a master's degree, which is a master, a vocational diploma, which is a diplôme professionnel. We have a certification, which is, for example, IT or HR. Et en français, on dit c'est une certification informatique or RH. And then we have the trade qualification, qualification professionnelle. So qualifications that are non-university or school could be referred to as many different things. So sometimes we say, I completed a professional training program in, and you add the sector. You could also say, I hold a certification in, and the specific skill, for example, project management. Or I gained my qualifications through on-the-job training and experience. So the on-the-job training means you learned as you were working, which is also very valuable because it shows the person who is interviewing you that you are able to learn and adapt very quickly. So at the moment, we have 10 in-demand qualifications. So this is the list for 2025. If you are able to do coding and software development, or have a cybersecurity certification. We have your digital marketing skills, or data science and analytics. And a big part of the sector at this moment in time is artificial intelligence. We also have project management, healthcare certifications, and design skills. Another trend is green energy and sustainability, and languages and multilingual communication. Let's go on to professional work experiences. Even though they can see your experience on your resume or application, your ability to summarize your work history is important. So professional work experiences can look like led a team to successfully complete a project under a tight deadline, developed and implemented new procedures to improve efficiency, provided exceptional customer service, resulting in increased client satisfaction, conducted market research, and presented findings to the stakeholders. So some useful adjectives that you could use for professional work experiences are, for example, organized, reliable, flexible, proactive, innovative, detail-oriented, motivated, collaborative, resilient, and adaptable. Sometimes it's very difficult to speak about ourselves and our skills. The most important thing to remember is that we need to talk about the things that we do well. So not in a way that is arrogant or boastful. However, it is important that people understand we have confidence in our skills. So we need to find a way to communicate that effectively and while still remaining humble. So that is quite important. So the 10 skills that are sought after in 2025 are critical thinking and problem solving, technology literacy, creativity and innovation, emotional intelligence, leadership and management, data analysis and interpretation, adaptability and flexibility, cybersecurity awareness, environmental and sustainability skills, and multilingual communication. Sometimes it's important to quantify your experience. So, if applicable, use data to add proven value to your accomplishments. For example, you can discuss your annual performance review numbers or the increasing percentage of quality work output. So this is important sometimes to be able to put a number to your skills. It can seem a bit impersonal sometimes. However, it's also important because the person can see your success, the rate of success that you have. So in conclusion, discussing your academic and professional career is an excellent way to showcase your qualifications, experiences, and future aspirations. Highlighting relevant achievements and skills not only demonstrates your expertise, but also helps you stand out in professional and educational settings. Remember to use clear, confident language to effectively convey your journey and your goals. And even though it can be different from culture to culture, country to country, I think it's very important that we find a good balance and that we can represent ourselves in a good and healthy way. So thank you for watching this conference with me this evening. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to unmute your microphone now. No? It was all clear for you? Everyone happy? Wonderful. So I will send the PDF to you via email. And I hope that you found some useful grammar that you can use. And I will see you next week. So thank you everybody for joining me. Have a beautiful weekend.